at TrekkingIsTrekking.com.
Life. We all live it. Or do we really? As conscious, evolving human beings, what do we see? If it's actually true that as a people, we are one collective consciousness, then why don't we act like it? If we were all related in some way or another, then our generations past would be furious toward how we treat each other. Stop and ask yourself for a moment why you're even here. And I'm not talking about the shallow, most obvious answer. See, it's easy to dismiss the complexity in the picture as a whole. I bet that you couldn't go 5 seconds in examining why you're here. Yes, here, in real time. Which brings up an interesting point. What exactly is time? Do you know? Does time exist for you? Or do you just exist in time? Or have you ever even thought about it? Perhaps the most important question here involves asking yourself, what am I doing with my time? The construct of time is misconstrued with that of evolution. We unknowingly place these hidden restraints upon ourselves, as well as each other. For all we know and really understand, time is a notification unto which all of our psyches unwittingly adhere to and are imprisoned. Think about it. If you were to ask most people their perception on life, then you'd likely get a reply that insists that paying one's bills and attending work is of primary means. But what about you, the person? Is that all you want for yourself? Your children? Is that literally all that you are worth? Well, if it is, then I'm afraid you are sadly mistaken. You see, I don't know about you, but we live amongst each other inside of a matrix. That's right, an absolute maze wherein the cause of confusion and mass contradiction consistently elude our minds, the basis for which we irresponsibly and justifiably accept mediocrity. We live in a world of false idols, where health hazards are seen as being cool and trendy. The popularity is at way. So when you look even further, it brings up the question, are we really evolving? Because it just seems somehow like we've been here before, doesn't it? Don't believe me? Just look at the average person's life. You're born. You go to school. Your parents or whoever raised you told you to take on a specific job or career preference since essentially day one. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a school teacher. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. Notice any similarities? The majority of us are taught and expected by others to pursue a job that will ultimately make somebody else rich. I mean, what the fuck ever happened to being self-sufficient and working for yourself? It's like we've implanted the seed within our minds that in order to succeed, we have to rely upon another person that just might hopefully give us a shot. And it's like we're begging with every ounce of our soul, please, please give me a job. Is that shit cool to you? Waking either in the wee hours of the night or early in the morning, basically disturbing your natural bodily function, only to skip breakfast or scarf it down, lying to yourself that it was an enjoyable meal when you knew damn well that you didn't even have the time to savor it in the first place. Rushing to get dressed, half-ass bathing and brushing your teeth, commuting in heavy traffic, along with the other spineless, cowardly, zombie-like walking dead creatures in a rat race to fulfill a false sense of gratification where you pretentiously adopt the notion of putting in a day's work. And for what? All for someone else. Are you gonna get rich? My point exactly. But it's okay, right? So as long as you can eventually afford to get a cool car that you don't even own, yet put a nice down payment upon, it's all worth it, right? That house that you lease to own, where you feel special because after all, you don't pay rent. you pay a mortgage, where in the end, you will have paid beyond quadruple the actual cost of the home's overall value due to the interest loans administered through the bank you brought it from, right? Is it not sad that most working-class slave citizens believe that a minimum 20-year commitment is fair game in establishing something as simple as a roof over their heads to which they'll never even truly own? I mean, just look at Las Vegas, Nevada, during the housing crisis of 2008, when over 80% of so-called homeowners, or so they thought, had their sanctuary homes go into foreclosure by default. When it was done, all without any such good reason. Newsflash, people, you don't own shit. You've only accepted the ultra-false narrative that insists that you can acquire ownership. Oh, and least I mentioned, neither do you own any of those worthless college degrees, aka receipts. And when you try to reveal the truth to people, it virtually makes no sense, because the masses have become so indoctrinated with this fictional sense of entitlement to where all they want to do is exist. Just look around you. We live in a world now where the internet has all but secured potential wealth, yet these lifeless souls continue to adopt the idea that in order to make a progression, they have to work for somebody else and undesirably take orders. Everything is supposedly smart now. Smartphones, smart meters in the home, smart apps, smart cars, smart appliances, smart technology, etc. But how many people have become smarter as a result of using these gadgets? Name one. Yep, I thought so. We've reached a point to where there's no return to common sense and sanity. It's insanity. Most people will never even reach the point of frustration that will persuade them into pursuing their own life. Wow. What a total shame. And I ask you, what's your purpose in life?
Who is it?
TrickingIsTricking.com